it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for the war, if it wasn't for him, if it wasn't for her, if it wasn't for the economy, then my life would be working perfectly. But there's a little formula I learned that's very, very powerful, and it really is the basis of everything I teach. It says E plus R equals O. And what that stands for are the events in your life, you have a response to them, and that creates outcomes. And everything in your life that you experience, whether you love it or you complain about it, is an outcome of how you've responded to earlier events. For example, if I put $200 in front of you and you go out and party with it, a month later your net worth hasn't increased. But if I put that $200 in front of you, that's the event. Your response is you invested, and then a year later maybe it went up to $250. So now your net worth went up. Same event, different responses. What's your name? Valerie. Let's say I say to Valerie, of all the people I've ever met, Valerie, you have to be the biggest idiot I've ever met in my life. Now, how many people think that would raise her self-esteem? No hands go. How many people think that make her self-esteem go down a little bit? Yeah. See, everyone that just raised your hand was not listening to the lecture called E plus R equals O. It's not what Jack says to Valerie. It's what Valerie says to Valerie when Jack stops talking. She might have said, oh, my God, the man's only known me a few minutes. How did he figure it out so fast? Right? Her self-esteem would go down. Or she might say, Campfield's only known me for a few minutes. He can't really know what I'm like. I'm sitting in the front row. People that sit in the front row are really willing to participate. I've got a good ego structure. You see me smiling at my jokes. Besides, I'm one of the more attractive women in the room. Probably can't keep his eyes off me anyway. Now, if he said that, which way would her self-esteem go? It would go up. See? So if she says that. So basically, it's not what people say to you. It's not what they do to you. The world's just out there worlding. It's not personal. And if you want a different outcome, because E plus R equals O is like 2 plus 2 equals 4, and if you're not happy with 4, you've got to change your response. The word responsibility means you have the ability to change your response to something other than what you're currently doing. And if you would do that, you would get a different outcome. Does that make sense? Yeah. So basically, we are responsible to change our behavior until we get the outcomes we want. And that's kind of an experiment. You never know if something's going to work or not. Maybe you're distant from your spouse and you try a new communication technique you learn in a workshop, and it works. You go, ah, great. Or maybe you try and it doesn't work. Well, there's just about 500 more you can try. You know, you can read Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, Children Are From Hell, one of those books. And just kidding. But, you know, there's so much out there, so many good techniques. And unfortunately, most people don't experiment with trying on new ones. Life should be approached as a huge experiment. And you just keep experimenting until you get it right. Okay? All right. We talked about that. So we'll go to this. E plus R equals O again. I want to give you a business example. A friend of mine during the first Gulf War was a Lexus dealer, and people stopped coming in to buy Lexuses. They were all watching CNN and CNBC and watching the war on TV. And plus, we were having a minor recession, so people were holding on to their discretionary income. So what happens was, he said to his staff, E plus R equals O. There's a war. People are watching TV. Our responses, we've been doing the same thing. Ads on the radio, ads in the newspaper, waiting for people to come in. Well, they're not coming in. We better do something different. We're not going to go out of business, but we're going to take a huge economic hit if we don't. So they tried 4 things, one of which worked, and I'll tell you what that was. They said, if the people aren't coming to us, let's take cars to where they are. Okay? So they would go out with 5 or 6 Lexuses, and they'd go to a party. What's your name, sir? Tom. They go up and say, Tom, what do you do for a living?
I'm an investment banker.
You're an investment banker. How's the investment banking business doing these days?
Great.
Doing great. What's he eventually going to ask me? What do I do? And I'm going to say I'm a Lexus dealer. And then I would say, have you ever driven a Lexus?
Yes.
Yes. Did you like it?
Loved it.
Loved it. You know, we have a new LS400 outside, never been ridden by anyone. It's got the new Nakamichi sound system, quadraphonic sound. It's got the tilt-back mirrors. It's got the new seats that have the air that comes out that can keep you warm or keep you hot, depending on what you need. Would you like to take a little spin with me, see what it's like? Great. So we go and we take a little spin in the Lexus. Now, you come back in. Let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever test-driven a new luxury car and then got back in your old car? You know that feeling? You were really satisfied until then. Well, they ended up selling over 60% of the people they did that with a new car within 2 weeks. Because they didn't wait. They tried something different. And if you keep experimenting like that, you'll find the R that works, but you have to be willing to take a risk. And the reason most of us don't do that is we don't want to feel uncomfortable, because all new things require discomfort. I'd like you all to do this with me real quick. Fold your hands like this, and you can do this watching at home, in your hotel room, wherever you might be if you're watching this on a TV set. And notice which thumb is on top, your right or your left. And whatever that is, I'm going to ask you to unfold all your fingers and have the other thumb show up on top. Okay? Don't just move the thumb, but all the fingers are moving. Now, how does that feel? Uncomfortable, awkward, strange, yucky, wrong, not me, right? Now, what does your body want to do?
Go back.
Wants to go back, so let it go back. How's that feel? Most of you said better. Tom over here went, oh, like, I'm me again, right? What happens is, literally in life, this is what stops most people from being successful. One of the things is that they would rather be comfortable than do what's required. Anytime you do something different, it's uncomfortable by its very nature. Now, most of you remember learning to drive a car. You were probably awkward. You know, you forgot to hit the clutch when you hit the brake. But after a couple months, you're there driving with your knee. You got a Big Mac in your left hand. You're breaking up a fight in the back seat with the kids with your right hand. No big deal. But you have to be willing to go through that awkward, uncomfortable stage. And most people, unfortunately, won't do that. And so they get locked in what we call their comfort zone. So what I want you to do is to realize that life is an experiment. You have lots of responses that are possible. And I'm going to teach you some of those new ones, perhaps, that you can apply to your success. So there's three kinds of responses. Number one is your behavior, what you do and say out loud. Number two is your thoughts. Number three is the images you hold in your head. Those are the only three things you have any control over in your life. What you say and do, the thoughts you think, and the imageries that you hold inside your head. So we're going to look at this whole area of thoughts for a minute. And I'm going to ask somebody to come up here and volunteer to do a little exercise with me. It'll take about 1 minute. So, okay, great. What's your name? Marianne, very good. Come on up, Marianne. And I'd like you to turn around and face the group. Now, are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Right-handed. Is your left arm okay? Any injuries going on here? Very good. So what I'm going to do is push down on your arm. I want you to push up, okay? So we'll see how strong you are. Very good. Now, you said your name was Marianne?
Yes.
So say, my name is Marianne out loud.
My name is Marianne.
And then resist. That's a very funny last name. But that's so my name is Marianne.
My name is Marianne.
And resist, good and strong. Now I want you to make up a name that's not yours. My name is Margaret. My name is Joe. Any name at all, and just say it, and then I'll test your arm.
My name is Kathy.
Say it one more time.
My name is Kathy.
And resist. What happened to your arm?
It went down.
Was it as strong?
No.
No. And my name is Marianne. Say that.
My name is Marianne.
And then say, my name is Kathy.
My name is Kathy.
And without any effort, it goes down. Now, see, when you lie, this whole set of muscles goes weak. Okay? Literally, the whole Michael Jackson trial could have taken about 1 minute. All right? And we would have known one way or the other. But see, the reality here is that your thoughts affect your physiology. We just saw that. The brain wasn't designed to lie. It was designed to perceive truth and organize truth and express truth. Then things work. Otherwise, you're called psychotic or you're called a liar and gets in trouble and so forth. So let's look at one of the lies we tell ourselves. I'd like you to think of something you always wanted to do, Marianne, that you didn't think you could. Like, I can't sing, I can't bowl, I can't skydive, I can't start a business and run a family. You know, anything at all that feels true for you.
Okay. It would take me a minute.
That's okay.
I'm kind of confident. Okay.
You got one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you say it out loud?
I can't swim in the ocean out too far.
I can't swim in the ocean out too far. So say it again.
I can't swim in the ocean out too far.
And notice what happens to your arm. Now say, I can swim out in the ocean as far as I want.
I can swim out in the ocean as far as I want.
One more time.
I can swim out in the ocean as far as I want.
And resist. Notice what happens now. You're twice as strong. So what happens is when you say I can't, you actually weaken yourself. You weaken your resolve. You actually change your physiology. You become less resourceful. You're less capable to actually do the thing you're saying I can't. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Do two more quick things with me. Close your eyes and remember a failure experience in your life. You're not going to have to share it with anybody, just to yourself. But you set a goal and somehow it didn't work out. And when you can remember such a time, just nod your head.
Okay.
You got one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So I want you to visualize what you saw at the moment you knew it wasn't going to work. There's the pink slip, person slamming the door, whatever it is. And when you have that image, just imagine, or just nod your head. Okay? And notice what happens to your arm. Now open your eyes. Did you eat any meals today?
Yes.
Name one thing you ate.
Chicken sandwich.
Chicken sandwich. Okay, good. You brought your agent with you? Okay. A friend. All right. So now close your eyes and remember a time when you had a success experience. You set a goal and you achieved it and you were really proud of yourself. You remember such a time?
Mm-hmm.
And vision what you saw then. Make a real clear picture in your head of what you saw when you knew it was a success.
Okay.
And resist. No, it's really good and strong. I want you to do one last thing with me, and then we'll talk about what all this means. I want you all to look up at her, look at Marianne, and I want you to think a negative judgmental thought about her. Just make one up. I don't like you, you're an idiot, whatever. Okay? And give her that look parents give their kids when they're disappointed in them. And I want you to resist with all your strength.